Welcome to the Marketing Essentials podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to talk to you about branding basics for your business on social media.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, and welcome to the Marketing Essentials podcast. I'm Bill from W.Parmentier Photography.
I'm Justin from Justin Kerr Design.
And I'm Alicia with Custom Marketing Solutions.
And together we make up
the Marketing Essentials team.
Wow, that was the best one ever.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Do we want to tell everyone about, a little bit about who we are?
Yeah.
Justin, I'll let you take the cue on that.
Okay.
Go, Justin.
As we said, we are the Marketing Essentials team, and our mission is to help small businesses grow by providing essential marketing expertise. And the way we do that is through our podcast. So thank you for watching or listening.
Wherever you may be today. Car,
Right.
Yes.
At the gym.
walking.
Actually, that's a great segue to before we get too far, because I think the last podcast we didn't mention to people that they could go to iTunes, did we?
Yeah, you're right. We didn't. So this podcast is available, of course, on our website, which is marketingessentialsteam.com. But it's also available on iTunes. So just search on iTunes for Marketing Essentials Team, and you'll be able to subscribe to our podcast. And we're also on YouTube.
Yes, we are. We have a YouTube channel, which the link for that, or it's actually embedded directly onto our website also. But it'll also take you, when you click on that, it'll take you to the YouTube page, which we'll be able to go back and see the previous podcast for those that want to see.
And if they just search on YouTube for Marketing Essentials Team, we just come right up.
It's a good question. I think right now it may not come up that way, but I can set it up. Make sure we can set up to do that way. So
yeah. And who should listen to our podcast? Basically anybody that wants to improve their marketing. We're three individuals with three of our own areas of expertise. And today we want to talk a little bit about branding basics for your business on social media. So
before we do that, though, because I forgot last time, we need to talk about who is providing our venue today.
Yes, it is a different venue from the previous ones.
Right.
Never forget to shout out our vendor or our venue.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd like to give a big thank you to the Feast Church, which is in Providence. They've provided us the space today to do our podcast, and we really appreciate that.
Yes.
If you know a space or you would like to have us as your guest.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, we will be happy to come and invade your space.
And we'll even
do our podcast.
And we'll even go a step further. If somebody wants to donate a permanent space.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm kicking tables here. I'm sorry.
And we'd be happy to make you a permanent sponsor of the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
All right.
I think Justin's onto something.
All
So
right, I'm
if you know
sorry,
any,
Alicia.
that's okay. Just
We're way
stealing my
all over the
spotlight.
place
It's
here.
cool. Nobody wants to hear about branding on social media.
I do.
I do
okay.
too. So,
All right.
so you're up to two. You get two of us.
Two people who want to hear today. So, so branding on social media. And we've had a couple other podcasts before. And Justin, we dug really deep into branding. So if we just kind of want to recap, like what makes a company into a true brand? What adds to your branding? I have some elements, but do you want to kick off what?
Yeah, I think what makes a successful brand is when the customers of that organization connect emotionally with that organization. And there's a couple different ingredients in that. One is to be consistent with your branding, to have a compelling story as part of your brand. And it takes time. It takes time to build the brand and have people make that emotional connection to it. So whether you have a product or service, branding is very important because it's your face to the world. It is how people identify with you.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. And so you can have your branding on any type of marketing material. So that could be printed material. That could be your direct mail, which we talked about in our last podcast. It could be your website. Branding can definitely be part of your photography and your images.
Absolutely,
and it needs to be part of your social media. So when you're setting up your Facebook or your Instagram, your Twitter, whatever social media profiles you're using, venues, you're setting up these profiles to look like your brand and also to bring an experience through to the users, I think. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. So maybe you could talk to us a little bit about, okay, what are the different components of your brand that are best served on social media?
Yeah, so I have broken it down into some of the most basic elements, and then we can get into some of the more, I guess, advanced areas that I think of when I think of branding for social media. But one of the first things, and you hit the nail on the head when you said consistency, is photography and logos. So that is a big deal on social media because everything on social media is about being visual. You can display content and you can post links to your blogs and things like that, but you're always going to want to have images. You're going to want to have your logo prominent. With the images, the photography, and we've talked about this in the past, how can some service-based businesses or how can different industries display themselves through photography? Because you're going to need this for social media.
Sure. I mean, anytime, one thing that sticks out is if you can show how you service your customers, whether it be using, we've talked in previous podcasts about using client stories.
Yes.
That's a great way through visuals to explain how the services you offer, and you get the added bonus of having somebody who has actually had the product or the service, I should say the service, excuse me, and can actually give you a firsthand account of how well it worked.
You're kind of getting a two-for there because you're getting the imagery and you're getting an inside look at the business, but you're also getting an experience kind of in a secondhand way because if that business is featuring, another customer or user that's had an experience with their company, then people can kind of live through that. Like, this is what it's like to work with that company. This is what it's like to, if it's product-based, to own that type of product. I do have an example.
You want to pull that up?
I'll have Bill pull that up.
Let's see if I can.
This is Facebook.
There
but
it is.
The same elements kind of apply to any social media channel. You basically have, with any social channel, you're going to have like what is called a cover photo and your profile picture. So real quick with your profile image, the one thing that kind of bugs me when I see Facebook profiles or LinkedIn or Instagram is not having your logo prominently displayed in that profile picture. So it's Aroogas Route 32 and they have their little logo there. And the reason why you want your logo in that profile picture is because not everybody is going to be interacting with your brand on the Facebook page. They're going to be, or the other social media pages as well. The interaction is going to happen in the feed. So the posts are what's happening in the feed, and they need to see your logo prominently and clearly so that they have that brand recognition with the logo. It should tie back to that. And if you don't have a logo, because there's some medical professional offices and things like that, financial representatives, they can use themselves, like headshots work well, I think, as a substitute.
And I think Bill would probably have some input on this. Is like, if you're going to use a headshot, make sure it's a professional headshot.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, like we've talked about in the past, it really depends on the type of service industry or company you are. Some you can get, like the example here of Aroogas, you can probably get away with a little bit more laid back type of headshot. But if you're a law firm, obviously you're not going to, like I said before, show up in board shorts and a shirt like this.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really a matter of that. What I do like about...
noticed you guys both have floral prints on today.
You missed the memo.
You're like, was that webcast? It's Between Two Ferns. It feels a little bit like...
Yeah.
Well, you just missed the memo. That's all it was.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
But anyway,
Justin.
well, next time we'll make sure we get you on that. But just go back to this Arooga Facebook page. The other nice thing is what a lot of people are starting to do with Facebook is video.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this shows their brand right off the bat. It's showing you what the restaurant looks like, what makes it unique. Obviously, when you think of Aroogas, you're thinking of the chicken wings. You're thinking of the sports pub type atmosphere.
So you're already experiencing it before you even get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And
So
you're
you
seeing
can
it all.
decide up front, this is someplace I want to go. Or you may be thinking, this is not my kind of place.
Sure, exactly.
But it's important to establish your brand, and I think this video does a good job of giving you a good feel of what the product and what the atmosphere is like.
And as you can see, it's not a long loop. It's not like it's a 5-minute video. It's literally
maybe 40 seconds
tops. Yeah, it's just showing you the basics of what they offer.
Now, let me ask you this: so if Aroogas said, "Hey, we want to have a promo video like this," how would you go about doing this? Like, what kind of walk us through the process of, okay, I'm going to sit down with a client and we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z.
Well, if you're talking a restaurant, obviously I'd probably want to meet in the restaurant to get an idea of the vibe of the place, so you can have an idea. I mean, I think what they did with the video,
for free lunch, right?
Well, hey, free lunch.
I'll take that free margarita.
I'm all about free food, so hey, I don't skip too many meals if you can't tell. But anyway,
can our next sponsor be a food place?
Hey,
definitely should be. I'm sorry. So
if you're hearing this, we're looking for food sponsors. Got it? Okay. Anyway, no. But going back to what we were saying a second ago, is what they did with this was, like I said, I think it was genius, and I would probably do something along that same line. Do you have a signature for a bar like that? Do you have a signature drink? Do you have a signature food? What is your branding elsewhere telling?
Right.
I want to make sure, as a part of the video, that we make sure we stay in line with all their other branding, their print media, their website.
What they're known for.
Yeah, what they're known for.
I do like there was a split screen with some of their food.
Hang on, let me a second. I'll get it back up there for you.
No, I don't loop around.
Nobody's seeing it at home right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We can see it, but they can't.
So,
hey, look,
I just noticed there's a split screen, and on one side they have their signature, buffalo wings. And then I guess on the other side, it's like, well, if you don't want to kill yourself with deep fried food,
you get the healthy option.
Salad. So
grilled chicken salad.
Yeah, no, I mean,
nice balance there.
And that makes sense because they're able to cater to more than one clientele by having that there.
And
so it's
the giant blue margarita.
So maybe you're not in the food industry, but you can create similar experiences with short videos like this. So maybe you are an attorney's firm or something of those. More professional, like we were saying. So you can maybe show shots of walking into your office. Where do you sit down with your clients when you're first doing your consultation? And you really get to give that person who's viewing your business on social media an inside glimpse at what you are, who you are as a company, and let them experience kind of what is it to be expected once they start working with you.
Yeah, you bring up the point of law firms. I'm always a little bit, and I'm not picking on anybody who's a lawyer out there, please don't take it the wrong way, but law commercials are all over the TV.
Oh yeah, I love them.
And they use
just kidding.
But they use the same tactics we're just talking about, where they'll have their clientele give a testimonial about it.
And it looks a little.
But here's the problem.
You can't.
And again, I'm going to give away something here, but and I apologize to the law firms that are on the up and up. But if you look at a lot of them, there's a disclaimer at the very bottom that these are paid actors. So anyway,
that's what
I would get back to.
Keep it authentic.
You know what? Yeah, exactly. Those paid testimonials, people can see through them. After a while. But when you have a genuine person saying, "Hey, I ate at this restaurant, or I use this law firm, or I use this plumbing service," that speaks more than just about anything you can say about your business. It really does. And Facebook is a prime place to put those things too. Now, do you, Alicia? Do you normally encourage your clients to try to get testimonials and put them up on Facebook? Or
oh yeah, that's part of your brand. Their testimonials. That is, like I was saying, it's letting people experience your company through testimonials, through others' experiences. And so written testimonials are always great. Video testimonials, video is just bottom line for social media. So video testimonials go so much farther just because the nature of video right now. In terms of the cover photo, so you do have that option with a business profile on Facebook to do the video cover here. But if you can't do a video cover, you can still kind of feature different images, keep it consistent with your website.
Can you do a slideshow? Does that Facebook let you do that?
Yeah, if you do the slideshow as a video.
Yeah.
Oh, it has to be video so it's, you can't load in multiple images and have it.
Can we speak about a pet peeve of mine right now with Facebook that drives me absolutely nuts?
Yes, what is it, Bill?
Sorry, it's like, yeah, Bill, come on.
I want to know, seriously.
No, all kidding aside, there is, anywhere you go, there are people that are trying to game the system in order to market themselves better. And people have started to realize that video ranks a little bit higher even in Facebook's world. So what they start doing now is they're taking static pictures and they're making them into 10-second videos. There's no movement at all.
It's just like a slideshow.
It's literally a one-slide slideshow that auto plays. But because it auto plays, they'll put a little bit of music or something that most people don't hear because if you're like me, you never turn the audio on.
Well, yeah, because when you're scrolling, it's all muted, right?
Yeah. So what they're doing in essence is they're really gaming the system to try to get themselves ranked further because they know that static slide won't pull it.
Facebook is going to catch up with that.
Eventually. So don't do that.
Yeah. If you're going to do a video, do it right. You know, if it's going to be something simple, fine. If it's going to be customer testimonials and something more advanced, then work with a videographer.
Sure.
But overall, I think this video it's pretty neat. It's simple. It's not too complex, but it's done pretty well and it fits the dimensions correctly. Other elements of branding, so beyond just your visuals, your photography, I guess I should say, you have things. I mean, we could talk about visuals a little bit more. I could talk about visuals all day, I guess. But I mean, social media is a visual platform. So, and here's another thing: when you're doing your social media posting, basically, I would say don't even bother posting if you don't have a visual to go with it.
I would agree with that because it gets lost, especially if you're a business. It's one thing if you're just posting for friends or something like that, but when you're a business, people look right past just a quick text.
It's going to get lost in the feed. It's so much less real estate that you're taking up. And like then you have social media channels like Snapchat and Instagram that are purely visual in nature. Right. So I think it's just human nature to want to see visuals.
And
go ahead.
Especially if it's an organic post where you're not paying for it.
Yep.
That makes it even that much less that people are going to see it. Because you're not putting in front of them. And we all know that Facebook has changed their algorithms yet again to try to make it even harder as a business for them for us to actually put any relevant stuff out to people who would normally get it prior to,
So
I was going to say, another tool that's available out there for getting images into your posts is something like Canva.
Yeah.
So, if you have a promotion that you're putting together, like, 20% off your next haircut or whatever, you can put it together pretty quickly in Canva. It'll provide you with a background image and then you can overlay some text on it. And that provides a nice visual for the post. And aside from the way Facebook weights images versus video, just simply having an image with your posting makes it more attractive. It's the human element. When someone's scrolling down the page, that's what's going to catch their eye as the visual.
Right. Even if it's a link to go to your website or maybe you did a blog post, you can throw an image into that on Facebook, and I believe LinkedIn is set up the same way.
Yeah, it is.
Instagram, you obviously have to have a picture when you're posting.
Sure.
But if you're doing links, which is fine because you want to generate traffic back to your website at times, just make sure there's an image to go with it.
Well, now correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of times when you put a actual website link in, a good portion of the time Facebook recognizes that and will put a preview already up for you. So that does help.
Sometimes it pulls a pretty junky image.
True. It really depends
on. You can replace that. So,
can you?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, who knew?
You can kick that out and pull in one of your own images.
So I noticed too, like when I've posted stuff, if there's more than one image in the post, if you're like posting sharing a blog post, you can actually choose which image.
Yep.
So that was a nice feature.
Yeah, because you're going to want to, if it's your blog post, you're going to want to choose an image that might be branded to, your business. So maybe it shows your logo, or it's your colors, your branding guide, comes into play with your fonts, your style. So choose an image that represents the blog and represents your brand. Other images, so photography, you can do so much with it. Basically, behind the scenes, we've said this before too, so it's nothing new, but behind the scenes photos, staff images, team pictures. So I have a couple restaurant clients, and we display the food, we display the atmosphere of the restaurant, other things like that. But when once in a while, like the Bruins are in the Stanley Cup right now, or playing for the Stanley Cup or something like that. Yeah. So it's a sports bar too, and when they do a team shot of all the staff wearing their Bruins jersey and t-shirts, those posts do really well because it's a team shot, and it's branded to their image of being a sports bar. And so that's the type of stuff you want with social media.
I'm just trying to pull up something real quick. I'm sorry. She used to have, no, apparently not. Okay, I thought I had another Facebook page that was going to give you an example of the video headline, but this is actually a local, not a local photographer. She's in LA based, and let me put it up here real quick. I can show you, just to give you another.
That's what I was going to say. So Bill has this Facebook page up, and it's very.
I'm pulling it up. Here it comes.
very,
There we go. Now everybody can see it. There we go.
Visually, like you can tell it has something to do.
Yeah, that banner is branded.
Yeah. She started out as a wedding photographer out of LA, became very popular that way, and then has in the last year or two has really kind of morphed over into helping people build their Instagram. She
and it says
class on
Insta
Instagram.
180 up there.
That's her special course. It's a 180 days to Instagram greatness, she calls it.
Very cool.
So basically, you can actually pay to take this course that she does, and she will show you everything from how to properly set up a photo to be put up on Instagram, to the right times to do it, the whole 9 yards. But so you can clearly see in this case, her branding is right on target with all of that.
Now she is her brand, so
Correct.
it's appropriate
Public figure, yeah.
that the profile picture is her, and it's obviously
That's a good example.
nice professional photo. But that's a really nice branded banner that she's got, and it I'm sure a lot of her other marketing material follows the same look and feel.
Yeah, and then on the right there, so Aroogas didn't have that, but this page does. It has an Our Story section. And so that's a great point. Facebook is kind of picking up on the fact that brands should have a story. And this is kind of a quick little snippet to get people, to draw people in so people can see more about who you are.
I think we have that on our.
Hopefully
we
I
do.
put that up there.
Yeah, we do have that.
We should pull ours up now just to make sure that
we brand it correctly.
Well, it's interesting because on this one here, it's actually her husband that's in the picture with her, and her husband is also her business partner.
Oh, cool.
He started out as her second shooter at weddings, and they've built the business together over the years.
Yeah. So she's coaching people on how to build a business, and you can tell in that picture they're happy, they're fun, they enjoy what they're doing. Like, that's the kind of image you want to see if you're going to hire this woman or take her course, so that you can learn to basically have the life she has. So.
Okay, to make Justin happy here, we're going to pull up ours here.
Marketing Essentials team.
The Marketing Essentials team. Okay, give me a second here
All
because
right.
you may see my dashboard because
So we have our logo up as a profile picture.
Are we coming? Hey, there it is. Hey, look at those good-looking people.
And we are branded as the three of us
Yep,
in the cover photo.
that's our brand.
Doing what we do, which is podcast.
Yeah.
I think we're doing our webinar there.
And then over on the right-hand side here, you'll see our story here that Justin was talking about a minute ago, where it says about the Marketing Essentials team.
Yeah, and now we have some new pictures, so I'll update that because I think part of our brand is, we're out there in the community. We recently did a networking event, so it'd be cool to have that up there. But the visuals are a big, big part of your branding. And when someone comes to your social media from your website or from a printed piece, or they saw any of your other marketing out there, they should have that consistent look and feel from your logo to your images. All that stuff should be part of your social media branding.
Sure.
And then beyond that, we have things, and we've talked about this too, your unique value proposition and your story.
Sure.
Do you want to redefine the unique value proposition?
Justin's our UVP guy.
UVP guy.
You done with UVP?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Didn't catch that.
No,
and I know Alicia didn't catch it, so
I
I'll
actually
let
Googled
it
the
go.
definition of it. Is this how you would define it?
Yeah, go ahead and give me the Google definition. I'll tell you.
So your unique value proposition, UVP, is a statement about what makes you and your company different from other vendors. Its primary value is to create a competitive differentiation. That's what I have. It's often used in marketing materials or in talking with customers who are ready to buy. I don't know about the last part.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it is the differentiator.
Okay.
The way I like to explain the UVP is it tells prospective clients who you are, what you do, and why it should matter to them.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
So yeah, you got it. So now how do you bring your UVP into social media? How do you leverage your UVP in social media?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think it comes down to, instead of just posting always about yourself, really knowing your audience and knowing your brand. Two things, I guess, here. knowing your brand and then also knowing your audience, because now you're not just continually posting like, hey, we're having a sale. Hey, we offer this service. Hey, this is what we're selling. And you can go back to your UVP and talk about the why. What is it that makes you different? What is it that your audience is going to care about? And that's where you can kind of start to create your social media campaigns or your posts. So when I refer to a campaign, sometimes it's a longer, series of ads and posts combined. A campaign could be, you're doing something related to the community and the campaign draws in like fundraising for a nonprofit, but it relates to your brand and your company, and you are doing something with this nonprofit because it's a cause you care about. Your users can relate to it, so it all kind of comes back together. So campaign, I like to call it a social media campaign when it's a longer kind of ongoing effort for maybe a couple weeks, a month, or something like that.
I imagine that takes a bit of planning and strategy, though. That's not just going to come together instantaneously.
Yeah, it's not just like, oh, hey, I'm going to go post this and see what happens, but you're kind of,
right.
From the start, you're thinking, how can I post this? Who can share it? How can I involve other companies? How can I involve my audience? How can I get them to like, comment? Because that's what social media is about, is engagement. So when you know your audience, you can start to pick up on these different types of causes or campaigns that are going to be longer term and get something out of it. So you can do contests. And I guess we kind of dive into some creative ways to post, but you can do things like contests, you can do community-related stuff, polls, open-ended questions. You can create events, are a great way to get engagement. And so it doesn't always have to be a physical event, but you could do, so maybe you're doing fundraising for the month of October for breast cancer, and so you set an event up on Facebook and you have plugged into your audience, that this is a cause that they're going to care about and help you raise money for. So.
Are there ways of tying into current events?
Absolutely. So let's see, raising money. So, here's a good one. Hurricanes, the hurricanes that happened. A lot of people turned to social media to raise money for those areas, Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, and they tapped into their audience. I had a restoration company that they did some work in Puerto Rico, so tapping into the local community. They, had shipped crews down there, and they also had other local vendors like trucking companies that helped them. So they shared that on social media, tagged other companies, and they really got a great response from that. So it's almost like a PR effort via social media.
Yeah. Nice.
And that's just one example. And in terms of your audience, do you have any kind of insight or input on how like your audience plays into your brand? Like, does the brand start with you and include your audience, or does the audience help you determine your brand?
Yeah, it's kind of a chicken and egg kind of question. I think, before you have an audience, obviously your brand has to be about you. But as you build an audience, I think it can definitely include them. I mean, I'm trying to think of an example where, the customer base or the audience of a particular organization is part of their brand. But, the most obvious one that I can think of is the New England Patriots. So, if you go to their Facebook page, you go to their website, you'll often see their fan base as part of their brand, whether they're doing a community outreach event or whether they're having some sort of contest like, are you the biggest Patriots fan? Send us a 2-minute video or whatever and show us that you're a Patriots fan.
So getting the audience involved.
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, that becomes part of who you are, and it shows engagement, plus it generates engagement, because if you're running something like a contest, obviously people are going to be going to social media to find out how can I get involved with what's going on.
Right. Yeah, and I think so. Before social media, we had our websites and our marketing material, and it kind of just like put our message out there.
Yeah.
Now with social media, it's a two-way street. So you're putting your message out there, but you also want people to engage with the messages, and so your brand needs to identify you. It needs to be who you are, but it also needs to kind of it needs to, I guess, pull on the heartstrings or hit a core point with your
There needs to be
audience.
something, there needs to be something
Get 'em-
compelling.
Yes.
Tell a story with your brand, and you need to try and tap into people's emotional response,
Sure.
because they're going to make a purchase or they're going to engage with your social media based on that emotional response.
Yeah, people
Yep.
tend to do that a lot more than intellectually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I have a quote from, it's called Sprout Social, so it's a social media blog. I recommend subscribing to it if you want some great social media tips. But basically, they're saying that the brands who realize the impact of social media engagement are creating lasting relationships instead of just treating social media as a platform to advertise their products. They realize it's absolutely essential to keep your followers happy by providing a network where they can reach you and interact with you. This is according to Instagram. At least 80% of users already follow a brand on the Instagram network. So people do follow brands and they do want to interact with brands. And I guess that brings up another point, kind of off the topic of branding. But when people are interacting and commenting on your pictures, or maybe it's not a contest or anything where you're actually asking for interaction, but people are commenting, liking, sharing, interact with those people on social media.
Absolutely.
Don't just be there in the background. Thank them for sharing and like it and comment.
Yeah,
So,
because when you do that, they're more likely to come back and visit again and possibly post some more for you.
I guess it does build brand loyalty
It does.
in a
It
way.
does.
So that's tied to engagement, is tied to brand loyalty. And
Well, we talked about the example Justin gave of Chobani, how at the bottom of their page they had the different, I guess, their Instagram feed.
Yeah.
And that's a big part. You get people, if you go back and say, hey, thank you for posting a picture with our product,
yeah,
they may come back
and do it again.
and do it again.
Share
and
with their
again,
friends.
And again.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the beauty of engagement, is that when someone likes or shares one of your posts, you're reaching beyond your own followers. Now that person is sharing with all of their followers.
Exactly.
So that's how things go viral and everything like
So
that.
I'm going to ask, I'm going to set you up with a really nice softball here and
Okay.
say,
All right.
okay, all this stuff that we talked about today is all great. How do you build your brand on social media? How do you get people to engage? This can be quite time consuming.
Yes.
So
Yes, it can.
yes, it can. So, your typical small business owner may be agreeing that, yes, this is all good stuff and I should really be doing this, but I just don't have the bandwidth. I got a business to run.
So you hire Alicia.
So, well, that's why I said I would set up for the softball.
Thank you.
I would say that you need to sit down with a professional like yourself and say, okay, help me come up with a strategy for my social media.
Right. So I guess it's kind of like two parts to it. There's the strategy. If you want to do some of those more involved and interactive campaigns, then you need someone to kind of help you put the building blocks in place, I guess. And then the second part of it, I would say, is monitoring and the ongoing interaction. Because if you're not responding to reviews, if you're not putting stuff out there and paying attention to what's getting likes and comments and clicks and then interacting with those people, if you're not answering messages on your page, ouch, that's bad. So people expect to be answered within 6 hours.
And correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't the page, I know on the back end, as far as when we have business pages, it'll tell us our average response time. But does it show to the
Oh, yeah.
the average user too? Yeah.
Yeah, it will say the average. So people, and that's something, I don't have any hard stats, but over the last 5 years, I think we've been managing Facebook pages, 5-6 years. People are starting to message and ask questions more frequently through social media, whether it be, and sometimes it's kind of annoying because some of the questions are things that they could probably find on the company's website, but they
Like, how can I find your Facebook page?
What's your phone
You
number?
just did. Yeah.
but they'll ask questions, what are your hours, or where are you located? And you know what, as a social media company, we are basically on 24/7. We all have apps on our phones when we're managing these pages that alert us when they're getting comments and questions so that we can respond. So
Sure.
yeah, people ask, I mean,
Some of the silliest questions, I'm sure. I'm sure.
yeah, I've heard some really good ones. I'll
Well-
put together a list someday.
So I think we've pretty much come to the end. If there's anything else that you wanted to say to sum it up.
I mean, I think that is really it's basic. It really is, in a way, common sense. But there are so many times that I run across a company Facebook page and it's not, or LinkedIn, and it's not really showing me who the company is. They're not using their logo prominently. They're not
Sure.
using the best visuals. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah. So to make a point out of that, just having a Facebook page or Facebook business page and saying, okay, I've got one,
Not enough.
doesn't really do anything. You actually need to have a strategy. Did I just say
Strategy, yeah.
that? A strategy.
Easy for you to say.
And also maintain engagement.
yep, and bring in those essential elements, marketing essential elements.
Yeah, I like the way you did that.
And I would argue with you that a bad Facebook page is better than no Facebook page at all. Because I've gone to Facebook pages that were so horrible. I was like, yeah, I'm not. It was a business that I had no idea about. I was trying to find out a little bit more about it.
Are you saying a bad Facebook page is worse than no Facebook page?
Yes.
I think you said it backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say it backwards?
That's why we looked at you funny.
Oh, a bad Facebook page.
Because you could
But
look.
I know what you mean, though. So,
Yeah,
but,
a bad Facebook page is worse than having a no Facebook page.
agreed. Yeah, just like we,
See, I had to re-say it because apparently
You know,
my tongue's not working
That's
today.
all right. That would apply to anything. I mean, having a really bad looking headshot. You better
Or a
off just
website.
having the little square with the silhouette. Almost.
No. Or a
Yeah.
bad website. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've been to like I said, Facebook pages that were just like, ugh, really?
Yeah,
This
they
is
don't.
what you put into it?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Because, I mean, people would go to a Facebook page or go to an Instagram page to, one, find out more about the organization, right?
Mhm.
And also figure out some way to engage
Yeah.
with that organization, right?
Yeah, it depends on the type of company, but beauty products, people love to, show themselves with, like, maybe it's lashes or a shoe company, and they love to feature themselves wearing the product and tag the brand.
Sure.
Oh,
And-
absolutely.
yeah.
I was working with a local company, not too long ago that makes designer handbags.
Yeah.
And their social media was a huge part of their marketing because, people were always sending in photos of like, oh, I just bought this brand new bag. There were fans of this company that might have like 20 of their bags
Wow.
because
Wow.
they like to
It's a lot
collect
of
them.
bags.
That is a lot of bags.
But they would, they were very much engaged with social media because they wanted people to know what they had in their collection and maybe like what kind of outfit they put together for that particular bag.
That's
and,
so cool, too.
yeah, but that was a big part of their marketing was allowing their customers and their fan base to express themselves through the social media and also engage with them.
Yep. Yeah, so they nailed it, I would say. That's the true purpose of social media, is getting that user engagement.
Awesome.
It's all about the user engagement.
It
And
is.
actually, I have like one quote here. Well, we
Oh,
can
we're
end
doing
with a quote
Ooh, we get to end with a
if
quote.
I can
like that.
find it. But
It's like our
okay,
B&I meetings. We always end with a quote.
companies only provide customers with a service or sell a product. Brands provide customers or social media followers with an identity and an experience.
Yeah,
So just
yeah,
a couple things to keep in mind when you're.
That's a good quote.
That experience part is the big thing. It's an experience.
That
Everything
is.
that your customers see is an experience or not.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
having said that, follow our Facebook page, Marketing Essentials Team. Also, go to our website, marketingessentialsteam.com.
Questions, you can comments, you
Questions,
can
comments.
enter them there.
Also, don't forget, look for us on iTunes at the Marketing Essentials Team.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy search where you can get the audio-only version of our podcast, so you can listen to it on the way to work. So,
And also on our Facebook page, if you have ideas about what kind of Rhode Island experience that Alicia should have next,
yeah, we're still looking for more for Alicia here.
please put those ideas on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I should post the ongoing list, and maybe we can create a poll on what everybody thinks is like the
Well,
most Rhode Island
So
thing.
far, we've done New York System hot wieners, coffee milk,
Yacht soda.
Yacht Club soda, We did.
Local brewery.
Yeah, we went to Union Station. Had a. I keep wanting to call it a flyer, but it's a flight.
Flight.
Yeah.
A flight.
Yes,
We had
yes.
4 things there.
Yeah, so far, and so we're definitely looking for other ideas. So if you have ideas about a typical Rhode Island
we'd
experience,
love to hear
it can
'em.
be food-based or it can be otherwise.
Yep.
We'd love to hear that from you. So I think we've wrapped this one up. We want to thank the Feast Church once again for allowing us to use their space for this podcast. And we are the Marketing Essentials team, and we exist to help small businesses grow by providing essential marketing expertise.
And so
Guys.
there.
So thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.